Kyler Murray, you're up. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner _ follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It's time. Week 1 is here. This offseason felt lightning fast to me. I'm not sure for everybody else, but it felt like the off-season cycle for the NFL is now scheduled as such to where there's very little downtime. And maybe it's just because I've been doing this so long that I can just make, topics regardless of if there's football being played or not. And it just comes with the territory. Going into my 8th season hosting Locked On Arizona Cardinals, been in sports radio in Phoenix since 2011. Thanks for being part of this next chapter as we are on the heels of potentially the most exciting season we're going to witness over the last 15 years. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. So here's what we're going to do today. It's going to be all Kyler Murray first segment. Ways to beat Buffalo in the second segment. And what absolutely cannot happen if the Cardinals want to be in contention in the fourth quarter in the final segment. I have a feeling that I don't talk about Kyler Murray enough. I could do an entire podcast on Kyler Murray and then one for the Cardinals as a whole. And all we've been talking about, or all I've been talking about since the playoff loss to the Rams at the end of the 2021 season, is Kyler Murray is not given the best opportunity and situation to succeed at an elite level like we've seen him do. The oh my God moments, as I've coined on this show, we've seen. Not just the Hail Murray or the comeback, not only in his first game as an NFL player against the Lions, but also the comeback win against the Raiders to start in the start of the 2022 season. We've seen it. Week 1 against Tennessee, 2021. He runs around like a crazy person, then finds Rondale Moore on the left side of the field for a chunk gain. We've seen it all. And if you've discussed, or if you've seen, what I've discussed, sorry, my brain fried there for a second, as to why we haven't seen more of those, that's coaching, in my opinion. Coaching yields more oh my God moments. More talent on offense yields more oh my God moments. And Kyler Murray just being able to play free within an offense that he trusts yields more oh my God moments. We saw some of them last year. And now, just like my forever moratorium on not discussing the past regime as pertaining to the current Arizona Cardinals anymore. I did that I did that earlier this week. That's it. I'm done with Cliff Kingsbury. I'm done with Steve Keim. I promise. Because they're no longer part of the script. They're no longer part of the story. With that, there are no more reasons nor excuses that some may think they are as to why Kyler Murray won't perform, as to why he hasn't performed. Everything has come to this. Kyler Murray's got to do it. When I say, Kyler Murray, you're up, that's it. The rest of your career is on you. Because the other things are set in place. Sure, the defense is going to be great this year. It's not an original story for NFL teams. Kyler Murray must be special if the Cardinals want to win more games than they lose in 2024. And by special, this is the caveat to that. Or not caveat. Further explanation into what special looks like. It doesn't have to be leading the NFL in all-purpose yards as a quarterback. It doesn't mean 40-plus touchdowns combined as a quarterback. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean he must rush for 1,000 yards and must throw for 4,000 yards. It doesn't mean that. It means being, and this is what any great quarterback is. You're an elite game manager who is special when necessary. And while defining what a quarterback is a lot more difficult than just one sentence, that's pretty much what it is. Kyler Murray's never going to be a 300-yard per game quarterback. He's never going to put up Josh Allen numbers in a week-in, week-out basis. So special for Kyler Murray is maximizing the potential they have, not getting in his own way, and getting better and better as a quarterback. While the last one seems like, oh, obviously, that's anybody. You got to get better. You got to practice. Oh, he watches film. Oh, he doesn't watch film. All that stuff. There's no more smokescreen. There's no more reasons. There's no more excuses. If Kyler Murray plays 17 weeks and the Cardinals only win 5 games, we're going to be having very different conversations at the end of the season. And there are plenty of you out there who think that's what's going to happen. And you know what? Oddly enough, there's more information, there's more research that would defend that side than the alternative that he's an elite quarterback. If you look at the full scheme of work, wins, losses, injuries, things like that. It's true. And this is also the best situation he's ever been in. Not only with talent on offense, but with the coaching and everything like that. But this is it. Week 1 of the rest of your career. Go get it. And we don't know what's going to happen, naturally. Everything is in place for him to have a huge season. Everything is in place. The best offensive line he's had since being drafted. The best skill position group by far that he's had since being drafted. By far. And yeah, maybe his numbers will be a little bit ballooned this year if the defense can't stop anybody. That's going to be the interesting part. How do they handle adversity when they're constantly playing from behind, which is what we could very well see this year. Adversity. We've seen the comebacks from him. We've seen him do things that very few people on the planet can do. We've seen it. So you can't deny that we've seen it. Now he's going to have to make those, like, 2 different ways to look at it. One, he's going to have to make those plays more, or you set yourself up for success in a better fashion to where you won't have to in an effort to win a game. He's got talented players at every skill position on offense. James Conner is going to be the metronome. Trey McBride is going to be the first option, the pass catcher, at least to start the season. Marvin Harrison Jr. is most likely going to be special. And then you've got a cast of characters and Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, and Trey Benson and others who will be able to produce at a high level. But Kyler Murray going into week 1 on Sunday is stripped of every reason as to why he wasn't able to produce. And I've been a Kyler Murray guy, for sure. I thought it was the situation around him that was the bigger issue than him himself. He hasn't been perfect. Of course, he's culpable for a lot of stuff that's happened with the Cardinals. But it's time. There's nothing else standing in the way between him and realizing his potential. Just has to go do it. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. What are the ways the Cardinals beat the Bills on Sunday? Let's discuss it next. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at LinkedIn. I have a very, very soft spot for LinkedIn. Used it a lot when I was looking for jobs, whether it be in radio or otherwise. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role that you're looking to hire. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. But it isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. The new Locked On NFL is here. Locked On NFL is now 2 shows every day. First, the Madman Tyler Rowland kicks off your morning with a double shot of NFL espresso, and then stop by the barbershop with Tony Wiggins for some real NFL talk. Add in the Locked On local experts, and you get unprecedented NFL insight, hot opinions, detailed breakdowns, all in 30 minutes. It's a new Locked On NFL, and it hits twice a day. And you can check me out every Monday morning with Tyler. So if you want a little bit more of my big dumb face, Monday morning with me and Tyler Rowland. Make the Madman Tyler Rowland and the Barber Tony Wiggins your second listen at the new Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. What the Cardinals need to do to come out of Orchard Park with the victory. If we flash forward to Sunday afternoon, you tell me the Cardinals win, it wouldn't be a shock. The Bills are in transition too. The ways to beat Buffalo. One, the best, say it with me now. I wish I could put this on a t-shirt for the entirety of the 2024 season. The best defense the Arizona Cardinals have is their run game. Time of possession, effectively running the ball. Now, the front seven for the Bills is tough. Ed Oliver clogging up the middle, Gregory Rousseau there, and others. It is going to be a tough task. But this is going to be kind of the litmus test, I guess. Well, it's obviously the first taste, but the litmus test for what opposing defenses are going to have to do to stop this, what's set to be a high-powered Arizona Cardinals offense. Running the ball is number one, and it most likely will be every week, obviously depending on opponent, but running the ball effectively makes everything possible. Not only does running the ball effectively bleed clock and keep Josh Allen on the sidelines, but it also unlocks the wide range and wide skill set range of the pass catchers the Cardinals have. Running the ball is the foundation for this offense. Running the ball is what the Cardinals did so well last year. And running the ball will be easier with the group of running backs they have, not even counting Kyler Murray. On top of all of that, in summation, this offensive line is the best the Cardinals have had, especially under Drew Petzing. Running the ball is number one. You must run the ball effectively. 2, the second way to beat Buffalo, coupled with the first, is Trey McBride needs to be good right away. He's not going to be a secret anymore. He ain't going to be a secret. He's going to be a guy, and if you're in the fantasy football circles, he has tight end 1 overall. Tight end 1 potential. He's in the right system. Even though it's a run-first team, he's not going to have to block as much as he did last year with Tip Raymond getting drafted out of Illinois, who's an elite blocking tight end. He can play more of a Jimmy Graham role, which is something that is very scary for opposing defenses. James Conner, Trey McBride must eat for the Cardinals to beat Buffalo. And the third reason, and this is a little bit more nuanced, we're going to go to the defensive side of the ball. Got to keep Josh Allen in front of you. I did the crossover with Joe Marino yesterday from Locked On Bills, and that's the biggest thing for me. Keep Josh Allen in front of you. And it's as crazy as it is to say, make him throw the football. Josh Allen is an elite runner of the football as a quarterback. He's a tree trunk. He has no regard for his body. He's one of the best red zone threats in the league just by his legs alone. If you keep him in front of you and you make him throw the ball to Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Mac Hollins, and then Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, obviously, That's the best opportunity the Cardinals have to win this game. And I know it's kind of counterintuitive because the pass rush is not going to be great unless we get some surprising looks from Xavier Thomas and guys like that to help the Cardinals in their pass rush. The cornerback room is very unknown. Is Garrett Williams going to be a dude right away? Is Sean Murphy-Bunting going to be able to elevate from his play from last year in Nick Rallis' system? And can Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson, kind of be the Band-Aid over the top? But that's better than watching Josh Allen run 8 times for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns or something like that, which he's very well equipped to do, taking what the defense gives to him. Taking what the defense gives to him, I think getting him to be a passer with this new look wide receiver course with Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis out is the better of the options. And it's not great, but it's the better of the options. And one other thing, special teams, the Cardinals, this is one thing that if I were to do anything in Sharpie, if I were to do anything in, blood, as it were, special teams needs to win every week. Every week. Blake Gillikin has shown that he's a rising star from the punter position, and I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. I thought that when the Chiefs cut their punter, that the Cardinals should have gone after him and paid him. Blake Gillikin's the guy. He's the guy. And Matt Prater needs to throw out another year of being one of the most efficient long ball kickers in the history of the game. If this is a year where we saw from Adam Vinatieri, when Adam Vinatieri was 42 or something crazy, where it's okay, this is 1 year too many. This is the opposite of the Bill Belichick effect, where you get rid of a player 1 year too early instead of too late. If that's the case, it's going to be a wildly different year. And with special teams, I'll group in the fourth down, what the Cardinals are going to do on fourth down. This is something I'm wildly excited to see. Because if the Cardinals choose on 4th and 2 from the 37 or 38 to be a team that goes for it more than they kick it, where that's still, on the fringe, on the tail end of Matt Prater's deep range. Say it's the 37 or 36, where Matt Prater can kick 53-yarders still. But going for it, not only if converted, eats more clock and allows them to potentially score touchdowns instead of kicking field goals, it'll help the defense. But the other side of that is take the points, helps the defense, putting points on the board, although boring 3 instead of trying to go for 6, could benefit the defense more because you're actually seeing points go on the board, and that's something that obviously helps the defense. So special teams plus what the Cardinals do on fourth down this year needs to be as close to perfect as possible. They have no room for error when playing the field position battle or putting points on the board is at stake. And that you could say that for any NFL team naturally. But in this fragile defensive ecosystem the Cardinals have in 2024, everything else must be elite if the Cardinals want to remain in contention for games every week this year. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. What can absolutely not happen on Sunday that would potentially yield the Cardinals getting blown out? Discuss it next. Locked On Cardinals. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. For example, Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week in September, which is a huge, just little boost. That's right, only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss a deal with Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Are you getting the idea here? It's wild. It's super easy gameplay. The app is super clean, super easy to use, quick withdrawals. They don't mess around over there. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. This is going to be a tough segment to do. There are some things the Cardinals absolutely cannot do on Sunday, on the road, early morning time slot against Buffalo, in an effort to not get blown out. One that I'll just piggyback on from ways to beat Buffalo, Josh Allen cannot. Josh Allen and James Cook combined cannot have, 180 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. It just can't happen. It's going to wear out the defense. And the Cardinals will be playing from behind right from the jump of the 2024 season. Can't happen. Cannot happen. More importantly, because a lot of this is going to be focused on the offense. The defense, you know what it's going to be and what it won't be, what the shortcomings will be. When you expect the Cardinals offense to lead the charge, be high-powered. And when I say high-powered, I'm not saying, hurry up, putting up a 40-burger game. High-powered means efficient and the absolute strength of the team with all the talent that they have on that side. One thing that cannot happen is Kyler Murray cannot turn the ball over and you expect the Cardinals to win. The biggest oh no moments for Kyler Murray, for me, are when he sails it over the middle and it falls into the lap of a safety. We've seen this way too many times over the course of his career. And then people will go immediately, well, he can't see, so he's got an upward trajectory in, so he's got to loft it over, and it sails on him, and then it's intercepted. Yeah, I mean, that's the science of it, sure. I think that Drew Petzing will have the ability to, if there is a situation like that, you'll have a design rollout for Kyler Murray to where he'll have more view of the full field. While obviously he's rolling out to one side, so he won't be throwing across his body. Obviously, naturally, he'll be looking to throw the ball on that side of the field. Kyler Murray throwing interceptions is not something that the Cardinals can handle. It's not something the infrastructure can handle. Now, you say tip balls, things like that, we'll take those out. Kyler Murray must be the most efficient he's ever been. Turning the ball over, especially to give the opposition a short field with this defense that's undermanned in 2024, is a death sentence for this team. Doesn't matter who the opponent is. Doesn't matter if it's New England. It does not matter. A short field against an NFL team with an undermanned defense, death sentence. So with that, it's going to be interesting to see how Kyler Murray adapts. Are you going to see him run the ball more, even though I think that the least he needs to run the ball for the Cardinals to move the ball down the field, the better. And while I know he tore his ACL, it was a non-contact injury, he was in the middle of the field, he was just planted and went awry. He is the most valuable entity on this team, obviously. So how Kyler Murray doesn't throw interceptions, you would think that if he's rolling out, or if he's, and another thing he needs to do better is step up in the pocket or stay in the pocket instead of the fadeaway throws. Even though, the timing throws to the back pylon where there's no way it's going to get intercepted, he's eaten on those, especially with Christian Kirk when he was here. We'll see if him and Marvin Harrison Jr. have that, same rapport. Kyler Murray cannot throw interceptions. The thing that, and he's going to throw them, okay, can't be 2 a game. It just can't be. He's got to average less than an interception a game. And the ones, because you're constantly looking for maturity, growth, practice, evolving as a quarterback. The ones that will kill you because they remind you of what's been in years past is the ones over the middle that he sails that just drops into the belly of a defender. He's had issues with crossing routes too, the timing routes, where it was Trey McBride last year, I think, where, Zach Ertz, he had the issue with Zach Ertz too, and Zach Ertz was here, was the crossing routes where the tight end thinks he has to sit down and Kyler Murray thinks he has to keep running, or vice versa. Everything across the middle cannot be a weakness this year. And I think that's going to be scheme. I think Drew Petzing's going to work Kyler Murray's strengths. Every quarterback has weaknesses unless you're Patrick Mahomes. Kyler Murray's is throwing the ball across the middle intermediately, and it's not all the time. But when he sails balls, that is a recipe for disaster. And the Cardinals cannot afford giving opposing teams short fields this year. You just can't. So turnovers is always the case. And what cannot happen, the Cardinals want to win on Sunday in Buffalo, is they cannot be in a situation where they have to settle for 3 points. If you're in the red zone, it needs to be touchdowns. And I know it's like, well, not every team scores touchdown in the NFL in the red zone. Cardinals need to be towards the top. And look at what, like, out of all these three, the things that cannot happen, the thing that I'm least worried about is this. And let me explain. Trey McBride, 6'4". Marvin Harrison Jr., 6'3". James Conner is an absolute Adonis inside the 10-yard line. I've discussed this a lot every day. So you'll know this. Like, and if this is your first listen to Locked On Cardinals, cool. Thank you. Maybe make tomorrow your second, or maybe Monday your second listen. Not every running back has a nose for the end zone. Not every running back has like the inherent ability to get in. Like Ezekiel Elliott, say what you want. He's got a nose for the end zone when he's around there. James Conner, same thing. The Cardinals went from Kenyon Drake, who was allergic to crossing the line into pay dirt, to James Conner, who revels in it. Everybody's big, everybody's strong. Some guys can get in the end zone, some guys can't as well. So they need to get 6 instead of settling for a field goal. Like 1st and goal from the 9 and you're 4th and goal from the 6 and you have to kick it. The Cardinals cannot afford to give up scoring touchdowns. And they've got, I mean, Michael Wilson's tall, Greg Dortch is shifty around the goal line. Like Tip Raymond can catch passes. They've got big dudes. And Trey Benson is going to be another option. They've got big, tall dudes. And good luck defending all of them around the goal line. The Cardinals cannot 100% cannot afford to settle for field goals because they had 3 opportunities to score a touchdown and they couldn't. They just can't do it. You cannot win football games by settling for field goals more than scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Just can't do it. And the Cardinals now are more than equipped to be able to execute that and score more touchdowns. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. Week 1, baby. We did it. I'll talk to you Monday.